Jesse, are we on? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Couple of minutes late. It's 7:33 on Wednesday. We're at 16 Crone at the Croat House, and we're going to say the pledge and then start the meeting. It is Wednesday, December 6th. Flag, United States of America, the Republic, a nation under God, and justice. Okay.
Okay, trustee Fritchie,
Present.
trustee White,
Present.
trustee Casada,
Present.
deputy mayor Lopez,
Present.
and mayor Levin.
Present.
A mayor and trustees announcements.
Now it's done. Can't see anybody with that there. Hello, we're just moving some things around to get comfortable for the evening. So just to let folks know, usually we have a couple pages agenda. I'm actually not done counting, but I do think that this is one of those times where we did not only go through the entire alphabet, we're on to AA, BB, and whatever else. It's a number of pages. It's going to be a long evening. But we're also going to get a whole lot of things done tonight. So we're going to start as we always do. We're going to see if the trustees or deputy mayor and if anybody has announcements for the public that the public might be interested in. I'll start from my right with Dana White. Sir? Sir on this side? Bob? Annie? Okay. So I just want to let the public know that we're heading into the holiday season. Might I encourage everyone to shop locally? We have wonderful shops, new, old, and very old. Amazing places to eat, from great delis to all sorts of different food places, toy store, brewery. Please shop, please eat, please drink, drive safely, depending on the order you do it in. And also in that same mode, please think about those in our community that are very fortunate and those in the community that are not so fortunate and may need gifts for their children, clothing, coats. So many of our nonprofits and community organizations are collecting all sorts of things. Too many to name. I do try to mention this in my weekly mayor's message, in the weekly mayor message as well. I do want to say that there are lots of events going on in the county, which they do publish. I try to stay a little bit more local to Ossining as we have things going on. This Thursday, we are going to have something we haven't done before, which I think is sort of cool. And we'll see how it goes. Because of the rain that we had last Friday, we combined the tree lighting ceremony, which is so family friendly and really super cool, with the menorah lighting that is done by Chabad. There'll be hot chocolate, there'll be donuts, I think, I'm told. And I think we're expecting good weather. I looked at the weather, it looks okay. And so we encourage everyone to come. It starts at 6. It'll go on for, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. And we're looking forward to the tree lighting and the menorah for the holiday season. And so I hope that you all join us. And we're going to get to the meeting. So, legislative session. So, Village Manager Karen Diatori.
Good evening, everyone. We have a long meeting tonight, so I will keep my comments for tonight brief. I do want to update everybody. We do have fantastic stores and wonderful places to shop. And we also have finally gotten the signaling delivered so that we can start installing it on the 5 corners. And while you may think that this might create some disturbances in the village during this high volume shopping period, we will do our best to make sure that it does not. So we'll be in constant communication with the local businesses as well as the community as a whole to let them know we are going ahead and completing the 5 corners project before the end of the year. However, we will be really very sensitive to the fact that people want to shop, people want to be able to get into those stores, and there's a few stores right in that immediate area. So we will work to minimize any disruption whatsoever. And that work will begin on Monday and last for approximately 2 weeks. That's it.
The board?
Okay,
Okay, Corporation Counsel, Stuart Kahan.
Thank you, Sue. Good evening, folks. Since it is such a long agenda, I will just note that we have two local laws that will be are on for adoption tonight. One dealing with a zoning text amendment, the other dealing with roadway maintenance. Another local law scheduled for a public hearing, which deals with parking at the Quimby East parking lot. And just one final sort of public service announcement. For those of you who are still collecting your leaves, it's important that you do not place your leaves on the sidewalk. If you do that, you are potentially in violation of both village code and state property maintenance code. I know that there are some streets, Brookville in particular, where there is a very small area of grass between the edge of the sidewalk and the curb. But in many of those, for a number of those homes, the leaves are completely covering the sidewalk, which is dangerous because since folks park on one side, if you have to then walk into the street with cars coming down, particularly if you have a stroller, wheelchair, or some other issue, we got problems. We can't have our building people going all over the place looking for leaves every single hither and yon. So if you are a property owner and you have that issue with leaves, please keep them on your property. Try to avoid them coming onto your sidewalk. We don't want to issue OTRs because we know just a pain, but if you can just sort of keep the leaves back on your own property, not on the sidewalk, it will make life much easier for everyone. Thank you.
Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
Good evening. Just a couple quick things from the police department. This Friday is Police Academy graduation, so we're excited for Officers Noun, Capalbo, Polignano, and Nichols to be graduating. Monday, they'll go right into field training and begin preparing for their time on patrol. Right now, in community outreach, our officers are planning the candy cane run, and we're excited to be announcing a date for that soon and a schedule to go along with that. And in investigations, I'm told that the missing wheelchair that had been noted in the news in quite a few places has been recovered. Turned out to be a misunderstanding. Somebody thought it was left out for trash, and they brought it back after seeing the story on the news. So a happy resolution to that the chair has been returned to its rightful owner. That's all for tonight. Thanks.
thank you, Chief.
Organizational announcements. Announcements shall be event related only, shall be no longer than 2 minutes in length. Is there anyone here that would like to talk about an organizational announcement?
Before we do that, we have a lot of people on Zoom. I just want to make clear for here and for Zoom that we have limits on the amount of time that people speak, and we're going to limit for everyone the 2 minutes today versus the 3 and the 4 minutes. If we find that that doesn't work, we'll change that, but everybody has to be treated equally. So I'm going to make the announcement up front. While we don't have a lot of people here, we do have people on Zoom.
Okay.
Thanks.
Visitor recognition. Visitors are accorded a 1-2 minute opportunity to speak to the board, to address the board on issues not relating to the agenda, but relevance to the common good of the village. Anyone wish to speak? No, this is visitor. Oh, I apologize. I skipped public comment.
Yeah, you went right to the,
Yeah, I apologize. So
one
we're-
comes after the other though,
Right.
so.
We're going to do public comment on the agenda items. The visitors would be allowed a 1-2 minute opportunity to address the board. And I apologize to the people on Zoom. I don't want to confuse
How do you
anyone.
know who's on Zoom?
Because we know coming in.
I don't understand this computer stuff.
So Linda, you know, it would be helpful. Jesse, could you just lower I want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
You're good. I'm
Public-
just lowering the mic for
And
you.
I have 2 minutes, right?
Yeah,
2 minutes.
no,
I saw this
doesn't
in the
matter.
newspaper.
chair
and I
of the
find this,
meeting can change it.
Have to get a little tiny bit closer, not too close.
saw this in the newspaper and I find this an embarrassment for this wonderful village.
I don't know what you're looking at.
A newspaper clipping about asking police chief to retire amid series of scandals engulfing department. I urge the village to consider Detective Lieutenant Aaron Zimmerman, or however you say, whatever comes first, I don't know. He's professional. He has integrity. He's honest, and he's well liked by all of his coworkers. If you don't choose Aaron Zimmerman, go outside of the village to find someone. But I think something like this is a smack in our face. In all the years that I came to these board meetings for 20 or 25 years, twice a month. And I went to work sessions also. I've never seen anything like this. We have an exceptionally good police department, and the men and women who work there are aces. They're wonderful. But this, I don't like this. Thank you. That was, what is that? That was that was agenda items, right?
Yeah, so let's
Yes,
have the other
you're
people
fine.
talk. So when I'll call you
Yes.
back.
And then we'll call you back. Thank you, Linda.
Aaron Zimmerman, Chief of Police.
Is there anybody else here who wants to speak? Okay,
Anyone in the Zoom?
is anybody on Zoom? Raise your virtual hand, please.
We have no hands.
Okay. Sue,
Okay, now we can go to visitor recognition.
you're on again, Linda.
Visitors are
Wanna go
accorded
to
a
that?
1-2 minute to address the board on issues not. It's just the visitor recognition. You can come back in 2 minutes to talk about something that's not on the agenda, but
Okay,
the
this is
common.
not on the agenda.
Okay.
The sanitation workers on Ellis Place are top of the line. Chris Britt, Justin, Sergio Lopez, and the head of them all, Bubby. They all deserve a raise in salary as far as I'm concerned. When Chris drops something on the road, he doesn't walk away. He picks it up and puts it in the truck, the back of the truck. They're exceptionally good. But Bubby is, I love Bubby. And Paul Frioli is wonderful. And Andy Teese is wonderful. And I want the whole world to know that Paul Frioli left me a Christmas present on my porch tonight. I can't walk very well. I've been in bed for the last 8 months, I guess. He left me a walker. My legs aren't holding me up very well. And I had to take 2 painkillers and 1 mescaline for dizziness in order to drive here. But we have some really exceptional employees here. And I'll still say, Mrs. Helen Green, who started working for the village in 2006, who's around 85 years old, school crossing guard. Give her a damn certificate of appreciation. Don't wait till she's under 6 feet of dirt. Give it to her now. I'll give you the $5 for the piece of paper. She's a wonderful woman. She works Spring Street and takes care of the safety of all of your children and grandchildren. That's it. I have nothing but praise for the employees here.
Thank
For
you,
maybe
Linda.
2. Thank you.
I will simply add that probably I get the most emails of complimentary emails is for, and I've said this publicly before, is for our sanitation department. Made that announcements, and when I get them in writing, I send them on to village manager. They work for, so it's in their files, but they do get a lot of accolades.
Pat on the back is so helpful for the morale of people. A pat on the back.
Thank you, Linda.
Is there anyone in our virtual world that would like to?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Okay.
We have Abby Bergman. I'm going to bring you over as a panelist. If you could turn your camera on, you're going to be given 2 minutes and we will let you know when that begins.
Right, and I'm sorry, I guess so many of us know Linda Mangano. We know where she lives in
Yeah.
Austining,
I apologize.
but that's okay, Sue. Normally no, I know, but no, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just letting other speakers know. We appreciate your name and where you reside, please. We didn't ask you to do it because we all know you.
Mayor, unfortunately, the system isn't allowing for the camera to go on for Ms. Bergman, so you're just going to be able to hear her speak.
Okay,
Oh, him. I apologize. Sorry.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't hear me. Okay. Is this on non-agenda items or on agenda items?
This is non-agenda.
we already did the agenda.
Oh, I was waiting to speak then.
I don't think you had your hand up, but that's okay.
May I speak to that?
Yes, please.
Okay, I know I went to the meeting a few weeks ago.
Ms. Bergman, could you
It's-
please, we see your name, so would you state your name for the
Yeah, I
record?
don't know why my face is not on there, but I'm.
That's
I'm
okay.
in the middle of 2 meetings. It's Dr. Abby Bergman and it's 19 Pondview Lane, Ossining, New York, 10562.
Thank you.
Okay, what I know you're voting on the application to change the OR classification in anticipation of a veterinarian who wants to buy the building. I did look very carefully at his application, which I hadn't done before. And on it, it said that they will not be generating liquid waste, which I cannot believe that would be the case for a veterinarian's office. They said there'll be no additional demand for energy. There's very little energy used there. Now, I think with having a veterinary office, there will be greater demand for energy. No outdoor lighting. I can't imagine that they wouldn't have outdoor lighting. Also on page 8 of the application, they say there'll be no odors and no disposal of solid waste. I asked a question last time, and I know it was very clear that in order to have intensive animal use, it's conditional. My concern is that this is opening a great can of worms, and I urge the board to vote against the zoning change, the use change, because we're concerned. There are several of our neighbors who are adjacent to that property. I happen to be a dog lover, but there will be noise from dogs. I was assured that there would be no overnight
30
stays.
seconds.
I was assured that there would be no overnight stays and no outdoor kennels. With this information, what I provided in the past, I urge the board to vote no on this proposition.
Thank you, Dr. Bergman. We appreciate your input. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? We're actually on visitor recognition.
If you'd like to raise your virtual hand, we can bring you over. We have no one.
See no one? Okay.
Okay, ready to go?
Sue? Yes.
Village Board Resolutions. Approval of minutes. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the November 15th, 2023 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments on the board?
All in
Good.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, gotta turn the page. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the November 16th, 2023 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Trustee White was not present.
Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same.
One abstain. Okay, thank you. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the November 29th special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Any comments on the board?
All in favor?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor, you were not present.
Oh, so abstain.
It's
Approval-
okay. We're just checking that Sue Donnelly is on the ball.
I have my helper, so yeah. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report for dated November 1st, 2023 in the amount of $1,008,094.89. Do I have a,
Sue, December 1st,
I'm sorry, what did I say?
said November.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. No, December 1st, 2023. Thank you, attorney. In the amount of $1,008,094.89. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Any comments? Did you look at them or?
Yes. No comments.
Everything's
Thank you,
good?
Dell. Yes.
Again, we just want to let the community know that at the end of the year, we do get some big bills. And we will get even bigger bills at the beginning of the first quarter, retroactive to the year. So these numbers do fluctuate. But Manuel Casada makes it his business to look through the details of any of our vouchers, which is why I turn to him at almost every meeting to see if there's any. Every once in a while, we do get questions from the board about the vouchers. Thank you, Sue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Authorizing the village manager to sign a design services during construction proposal from Hazen and Sawyer. Resolved that the following review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the June 22nd, 2023 proposal from Hazen and Sawyer, 498 7th Avenue, New York, New York, to provide design services during construction for the Indian Brook Water Treatment Plant. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments on the board?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorizing the village manager to sign a proposal for I can't.
Jonik,
Shonik, I should know that, and King to serve as the village's special counsel for labor and employment law services. Resolved that following the review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the November 30th, 2023 proposal for Bond, Shonik, and King,
Bond, Shonik, and King.
1010 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York, to serve as the village special counsel for labor and employee law services for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Authorizing the village manager to sign an agreement with THA Architects and Engineers, PC. Resolved that following review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with THA Architect and Engineering, PC, 114 Lexington Avenue, New Brunswick, New Jersey, for architectural design, engineering, and construction management services for the planned multimodal transportation hub. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments,
Yes.
please?
Sure, and I know you probably are already doing it, but just as a reminder, I guess as part of the agreement, could you make sure again, all architectural, all documents are part of the village? You know, they're submitted afterwards as a record for us.
Will do.
Thank you, sir.
And just as a reminder, it sometimes seems like when we're like this sessions, we vote quickly. All of these items have been discussed many times, and last week during a work session were also discussed in detail for questions. So it does seem that we vote quickly, but it's because the discussions, and they were public, had already been made. I do want to say that I'm happy that we're moving forward. We've had a trustee who's been involved to represent the board on these meetings. The multimodal is it's a part of the DRI. Number of projects that we have going that will improve parking for the downtown, the businesses and the residents and the employees who work in the businesses. So we are very excited to start moving forward on our DRI initiatives that we've been speaking about for a couple of years now. So this is one of those big projects. So I think we're ready for the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution authorizing tax certiorari payment to 172 Highland LLC. Whereas a tax certiorari proceedings was instituted against the Board of Assessors and/or the Assessor of the Town of Austin and the Board of Assessment Review of the Town of Austin by 172 Highland LLC against petitioner's property situated at 172 North Highland Avenue. And whereas the Village of Austin ceased to be a tax assessing unit in 1989 and now adopts the Town of Austin assessment role for the Village of Austin as prepared by the Assessor of the Town of Austin for all the subsequent years. And whereas on October 31st, 2023, a consent judgment was entered in favor of the petitioner 172 Highland LLC against the Village of Austin, correcting, fixing, and reducing the assessed valuations of the aforesaid real property and improvements situated therein and forth on Schedule A annexed herein. Excuse me. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, upon certification by the village treasurer and all the aforesaid taxes have been paid, hereby authorizes and directs the village treasurer to make a payment of such refund of real property taxes due to 172 Highland Avenue LLC to Herman Katz, thank you, sir, Kanjemi, Wilkies, and Cly, and as attorney for the agent of 172 LLC as required by the consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Just want to point out that all of these charts and everything are on the webpage and also on the agenda that's hanging at the clerk's office, at 16 Croton Avenue. Adoption of changes to the fee schedule for 2023, other than water and sewer fees. Whereas on November 15th, 2023, the Board of Trustees adopted local law 12-2023, a local law amending chapter 270 of the Village of Austin Code. And whereas the local law authorizes the creation of fee in lieu of parking fund for new and infill construction in VC, SP-N, and NC-2 zoning districts. And whereas the Village Code Section 270-30A-12 provides in part, rather than providing all or a portion of the required off-street parking for a new development, change in use, expansion, or enlargement of the premises that requires additional off-street parking, an applicant may apply to the Board of Trustees for permission to make a contribution to the interest-bearing account, the Downtown Parking in Lieu Fund, in lieu of required parking for the proposal. Resolved that that's it. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Is that line there too? Resolved that the Village of Austin's 2023 fee schedule is revised, including the following fees that are in effect of January 6, 2023. And it tells the different prices for the amount of spaces that are required by the applicant. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments?
That one was.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Call for a public.
Oh,
Oh.
1 second,
Oh.
Maddie and Stuart, thank you for all the work that went into this analysis, related to parking, which we've been talking about for years at the community. This is sort of another leg of that chair, was this discussion with development, so appreciate it. Thanks. Sue J.
Yep. Call for a public hearing, proposed law 2023 entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 250, Section 250-33, Vehicles and Traffic, Parking at the Railroad Station of the Village of Austin Code. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby calls for a public hearing to take place at 7:30 p.m. on December 20th, 2023 at the Birdsall Vagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Austin, New York, to consider proposed local law 2023 titled A Local Law Amending Chapter 250, Section 250-33, Vehicles and Traffic, Parking at the Railroad Station for the Village of Austin Code. And be it further resolved that the proposed law amends Chapter 250 by changing the parking requirements in the Quimbley Street East parking lot. And be it further resolved that the members of the public are invited to attend the public hearing in person at the above referenced location. And be it further resolved that the members of the public requiring reasonable accommodation to participate in the public hearing due to the person's disability shall notify Corporation Counsel no later than 7 days before the public hearing and at kahan@villageofaustin.org, and to afford the village significant time to provide reasonable accommodation. And be it further resolved that members of the public who want to participate in the public hearing, access will be available through the Zoom platform. And be it further resolved that comments regarding the proposed law will be accepted by the Board of Trustees at bot@villageofaustin.org. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Any comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Fiscal year 2024 budget adoption. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin received from the town assessor for the year 2024 a combined total taxable assessment for real property and special franchise properties of $2,837,077,739. And whereas the Board of Trustees received the 2024 tentative budget on November 1st, 2023, in accordance with Section C4-3 of the Village Charter, and have since amended same. And whereas a public hearing of the tentative budget was open and closed on November 15th, 2023, and whereas the Board of Trustees, upon giving consideration and to requests and recommendations to all department heads, and now therefore it be resolved that the Village the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining does hereby adopt the budget of the Village of Ossining for the fiscal year 2024, showing that there is a levied and assessed upon the sum of taxable and special franchise properties of the Village of Ossining is herein before listed, the sum of $25,253,953 to be raised by real property tax levy, which sum is more completely set forth in the budget of the Village of Ossining, and be it further resolved that the tax rate rounded to the nearest penny is hereby fixed at $8.90, 9014 per thousand as assessed taxable valuation, and be it further resolved that the adopted budget for calendar 2024 shall include the appropriations and estimate revenues from the general fund, the water fund, the sewer fund, Section 8 program fund, and the debt services fund as modified by the Board of Trustees as follows. And the chart is again on the bulletin board, at the clerk's office and on your webpage. And further be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorize the capital plan for the calendar year 2024 as presented, see attached, subject to follow-up board resolutions for capital projects to implement. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Any comments? Okay.
I just want to say thank you for all the staff, all the managers, that work very hard as always in regards to a budget, especially Delt. Thank you so much for all the hard work. I know you're gonna start working on the budget.
Just put on her face on Zoom. Look at that.
I know she's gonna start working on the budget on January 1st again, doing all this stuff for the fourth quarter of this year. So thank you, Dale, for all the hard work. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I think, every year the budget is really only the 5 elected officials can approve it. We ask a lot of questions. Department heads spent a lot of time putting it together, thinking through what projects to continue for the next year, what projects to eliminate, what projects to recommend, and also just how to keep the business of running a village going as best as possible for its residents and businesses. So appreciate all the work. It takes a couple of months of hard work, mostly behind the scenes, and then we go back and forth. So very exciting time every year when we're able to submit the budget. Okay, Sue?
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adoption of changes to fee schedule for 2024, other than water and sewer fees. Whereas the village adopted financial goals and policies requires in part the establishment of a periodic evaluation of user charges and fees to help reduce resilience and real property taxes. And whereas at this time, the village manager has recommended certain changes to the adopted fee schedule for 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the village's fee schedule is amended as of January 1st, 2024, and the following changes. Again, these things are on the webpage or on the bulletin board by the clerk's office. Resolved, all of the user fees in the adopted fee schedule for 2024 shall be continue and in effect until and unless changed by a resolution by the Board of Trustees. Do I have a motion?
So second.
Any comments? These were also discussed in detail last week and over a period of time involving building department, material, creation department, etc. Sue?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Adoption to changes of the fee schedule for 2024 water and sewer rates and fees. Whereas the village adopted financial goals and policies requires in part to establishment of periodic evaluation of the user charges and fees to generate revenues sufficient to support the cost of the water and sewer funds. And whereas at this time, the village management has recommended a 5% increase in water and sewer rates to be adopted in the fee schedule for 2024 and for meter fees and related service connection fees hereby therefore be it resolved that the village fee schedule for water and sewer rates and fees are hereby amended effective January 1st, 2024. Again, the chart will be on the wall. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Finance establishment of the 2023 DRI Multimodal Transportation Hub, ESD and DRI state grants, general fund balance and debt service. Whereas the village management wishes to establish a new 2023 capital budget in accordance with the award of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI grant, to design and construct a multimodal transportation hub downtown with the anticipated cost of $13,243,000, designated to be financed by the Empire State Development Grant, $1 million, DRI grant, $2,243,000, a transfer from the general fund of balance of $3 million, and general fund debt of $7 million. Now therefore be it resolved, capital projects and capital project budgets are established for the following. And again, it gives you a whole chart of all of the, our treasurer does a great job of telling you where it's coming from, where it's going to. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Finance, establishment of the 2023 Market Square Public Plaza Enhancement and Expansion, DIR State Grant and General Fund Balance. Whereas the village manager wishes to establish a new 2023 capital budget in accordance with the award of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, the DRI grant, to expand and enhance the Square Plaza with the anticipated cost of $3,490,000, designated to be financed by the DRI grant of $2 million and a transfer from general fund balance of $1,490,000. Is that how, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Now therefore be it resolved that the capital project and capital project budgets are established as follows. And again, this will be on the board at the clerk's office and it's also on the webpage. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
So I just wanted to comment that this is really one of the beginning discussions. We've had discussions about the Market Square Plaza enhancements, but now we're seeing numbers attached to it. And so people understand we have about $30 million, fortunate enough to have gotten the DRI 10 million, another 20 million, probably closer to 30 million. But the grants aren't a carte blanche credit card, not a check. It's not a cash deposited in our account. All the grants have very specific boundaries, limitations, and some of them we have to match fund with our own funds, which is why why Dale is actually on Zoom in case we have any questions. But it's complicated in the sense that we get portions, we have to put up other portions, we have to bond for them, we have to take out of different funds. So it's an interesting year for that, but we've been prepared for this and we've been preparing for it. So it's sort of exciting to actually now see the numbers associated. When I see numbers, I feel like it's a real thing and it's beginning to really happen. And redoing the Market Square after years of its use, but there used to be buildings there, which now are just lots used for parking. Sort of exciting times. Can't wait to see shovel in the ground, but that's a way off. So that is what we're voting on tonight, is really the beginning stages where the rubber meets the road. So appreciate all the work. I know, Dale, you're here in case any of us have questions about it, but maybe we'll do it at the end so that we're not, unless we have on each and every item, maybe we can make a statement at the end that you would want to share with us. It might better that way in this particular case. Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, aye.
Finance established the 2023 DRI Station Plaza Streetscaping DIR state grant. Whereas the village management wishes to establish a new 2023 capital project in accordance with the award of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI, grant of Station Plaza streetscaping with the anticipated cost of $857,000, designated to be financed fully by the DRI grant of $857,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the capital project and the capital project budgets are established as follows. And again, the chart is available on both the bulletin board and online. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance, establishment of the 2023 DRI Caputo Center, Community Center Improvements, DIR State Grant and General Fund Balance. Whereas this village manager wishes to establish a new 2023 capital project in accordance with the award of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI, grant and improvements to the Caputo Community Center, to the building and replacing the roof, with the anticipated cost of $5,500,000 designated to be financed through the DRI grant of $2.5 million and a transfer from the general fund balance of $3 million. Now therefore be it resolved that the capital projects and the capital project budgets are established as follows. Again, the chart will be available online and on the clerk's bulletin board. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Please.
Yeah, I just want to ask Aaron, I apologize. I know it's not related to this resolution, but it's related to the community center itself. Do you know the status on the pool and how far we are that to be ready?
Sure. We are, we did run into a few things that had to do with identifying leaks in the pool. That's been resolved. So we're in good shape right now. They've started we also had some issues with the foundation underneath the locker room. So there was, and I might not be using the right terms, but there was some rebar and cement in the original foundation, but all of those things have been addressed. And work is going forward. So we're still anticipating that we will be back in the pool in January. So swimming will be, we're still, knock wood, on track with the schedule. And at that point, we'll have a mobile dressing room, locker room, restroom, because that's required when you're operating the pool. The actual finished renovation of the locker rooms and everything will take a little bit longer, but as it stands now, as of today, we're still looking at it at a very early January first dip.
Okay, thank you for the update.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Authorizing the renewal of the agreement with Nelson Pope Horis LLC. Whereas the village currently is being provided with professional planning services by Nelson Pope Horis NPV, 156 Route 59, Suffern, New York, for the term scheduled to expire on December 31st, 2023. And whereas the current agreement with NPV provides the village board at its option may renew this agreement for an additional 1-year term, therein the same terms and conditions. And whereas upon recommendation of staff, the Board of Trustees determines that the renewal of the agreement with NPV is appropriate, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees elects to renew the village's agreement with NPV for the same terms and conditions as set forth on the November 22nd, 2022 agreement for interim professional planning services. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agreement with A1 Computer Services, Inc. Whereas A1 Computer Services, Inc., A1, of 16 Mount Abo Road, Suite 17, Brewster, New York, provides informational technology services to the village pursuant with the service level agreement scheduled to expire on December 31st, 2023. And whereas the village wants to continue using A1 to provide the services detailed in the service level agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the following review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the new service level agreement with A1. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
Agreement with the SPCA of Westchester, Inc. Resolved that following review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with the SPCA of Westchester, Inc., SPCA, 590 North State Road, Briarcliff Manor, New York, for a term of January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, whereby the SPCA will provide care and shelter for homeless and stray dogs and cats and shall humanely care for animals brought to the SPCA by animal control officers, police, and other agents. And be it further resolved that the terms and conditions of the services provided by the SPCA are detailed in the referenced agreement. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I have a comment on this.
Okay.
Stuart, have you looked at the agreement already?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't look at it, so I apologize.
Same agreement as last year.
Is it the same amount of money?
Yep.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. I will go on record as still being disappointed with the wealthy communities that surround ours who do not do this. They neither have officers that take the time out to be trained on animal care, nor do they participate in the SPCA, and don't do their share, given that they, I'm sure, proportionally have the same number of pets that people in Ossining do. It continues to astound me that wealthier communities somehow do not participate, while our hardworking community does. So I'm just going to put that on the record. Maybe one day we'll require the SPCA to bring in other communities before we sign the next contract. And that might be something we might want to look at
Hey,
going forward.
Just to note, because we just got the shelter report from the state. Town of Ossining has a contract with them. Town of Newcastle has a contract. City of Peekskill has a contract. There's like 5 surrounding municipalities, including the village, that have contracts with the SPCA. In fact, those contracts actually go for longer terms than the 1 year that we
Right,
have.
but I don't think Briarcliff does.
I don't know if Briarcliff does
With
not,
over
but I do know that
92
Newcastle does.
Right, with over 92 people who are millionaires in that community, and Chappaqua, which is right up to the neighborhood. I'd be interested, because last time I asked, they were not involved. So I'm happy to hear that Peekskill, the city of Peekskill is involved, but I really think that everybody in the community should be. I always forget that the town is a different community, a different, not community, but the town, of course, has always been involved, but that I forget that they're also a different, not forget, but I don't want to throw them into that. But I do think that everyone in the area should be equally responsible.
Just to know, Mayor, Newcastle would include Chappaqua.
Part of it.
Good part of it.
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fire Department Cataract Hose Company Number 2, resolved that upon recommendation of the Fire Chief, Melanie Nitu, Ossining, New York, was elected to be an active member of Cataract Hose Company Number 2 for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Fire Department appointment, Washington Hook and Ladder Company Number 2, resolved that upon recommendation of the Fire Chief, Robert Terrilli Jr., Ossining, New York, was elected to be an active member of the Washington Hook and Ladder Company Number 2 for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this next one will be a roll call vote. It's a law. A resolution authorizing subject to permissive referendum, the issuance, oh no, I apologize. This is not the law. This is the issuance of the new bond. A resolution authorizing subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of an additional $24,782,700 in bonds to the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, to pay part of the cost of construction of the Indian Brook Water Treatment Plant and in and for said village. Whereas all conditions precedent to the financing of the capital project hereinafter described, including compliance and other provisions of the state environmental quality review, have been performed, and whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, Westchester, New York, on the village on September 14th, 2021, duly adopted a bond resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $63,160,000 in bonds for said village to pay for the cost of construction of the Indian Brook Water Treatment Plant project and for the Village of in and for the Village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, and whereas the village on July 26, 2023 duly adopted the bond resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $15,241,528 in bonds of the said village to pay for the cost of the increase in cost of construction of said project. And whereas it has now been determined that the maximum estimated cost of the project will be $105,729,040, no, $40? Oh, because the common got me. Yeah, $40, an increase of $27,327 and $327,512 over the previous authorized. And whereas it was desired to authorize the expansion of expenditure of $2,544,812 ARPA funds and the issuance of an additional $24,782,700 in bonds to be said of the said village for such specific object or purpose to pay for the portion of the cost wherein. Now therefore be it resolved that by affirmation of vote of no less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, as follows. Section 1, for the object or purpose of paying additional costs of construction of the Indian Brook Water Treatment Plant Project, including improvements in cost incidental thereof, there are hereby authorized to issue an additional $24,782,700 in bonds of the Village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, pursuant with the provisions of the local finance law. Section 2, it is hereby determined that a maximum estimated cost of the specific object or propose or purpose of now determined to be $105,729,040, and which specific objects or purpose thereof authorized at said maximum estimated cost, and that the plan for the financing is as follows. The expenditure of the $2,544,812 ARPA funds, and by issuance of $63,160,000 in bonds for said village authorized to be issued pursuant with the bond resolution dated and duly adopted on September 14th, 2021, and by issuance of a $15,241,528 additional bonds to be in said village authorized to be issued and pursuant with the bond resolution dated and duly adopted on July 26, 2023. And by issuance of an additional $24,782,700 in bonds of said village authorized to be issued pursuant with this bond resolution, provided hereby that the amount of the bonds will be issued shall be reduced to the extent of grants received in connection therein. We're going to skip down to section 10. Upon this resolution taking effect, the summary thereof shall be published in the official newspaper, together with a notice of the village clerk in subsequent form, substantially in the form provided in section 81.00 of the local finance law. And section 11 is this resolution is adopted subject to permissive referendum. Office research. Oh,
That's the next resolution.
oh, this what? Oh, okay. That's it. Phew. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments?
Who, just need the second again. Oh,
did.
oh,
Annie did.
okay. Go ahead. Are there any questions? Are there any statements? Anybody has? Okay.
Right.
Roll call vote. Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
trustee Casada,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Lopez,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Okay. I gotta go back to my page. Okay. Office research. Oh, that's the next resolution. Gotta clean this up.
Lose your spot?
No, I
'Cause
got it. I got it.
it's- Okay.
Office research, OR zoning district text amendment, CEQA determination, was negative declaration. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, located in Westchester County, New York, is proposing a zoning amendments that would amend Chapter 270, Appendix A, Table 1A, permitted conditional and special permit principal uses of business and mixed-use districts and planned waterfront sub-districts. And whereas the proposed action is located within the Office Research OR zoning district, and therefore and hereafter referred to as the area, and whereas the proposed action involves zoning amendments that change the current non-permitted use of the OR zoning district for animal-related uses, general and animal-related uses intensive to be permitted use of the animal-related uses, general and conditional use, subject to the planning board approval of the animal-related uses intensive, and whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR Part 617.2, and proposed action is classified as a type 1 action. Now therefore be resolved that the village board finds that pursuant with the Article 8 of the State Environmental Conservation Law and the 6 NYCRR Part 617, and based upon review of the EAF Parts 1 and 2, all application materials required and referrals and consultant reports that are provided for the action, the village manager adopts the negative declaration in connection with the project. Is that all I have to read on that one? Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second?
Any
comment?
comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
What page should I go to next? We're on Y? Y? Okay, renewal of the intermunicipal agreement for engineering and related services. Whereas on February 17th, 2023, the town of Ossining, the town and the village of Ossining Village entered into an municipal agreement effective January 1st, 2023, whereas the village provides engineering and related services to the town. And whereas the current agreement expires on December 31st, 2023, and whereas the current agreement provides this agreement may not be amended, modified, altered, renewed, or otherwise changed without the approval of both the Board of Trustees and the Town Board, and whereas both the village and town staff agree that renewal of the municipal agreement is warranted, now therefore be it resolved that upon review of the Corporation Council for the village manager is authorized to execute such documents that are deemed necessary to renew the intermunicipal agreement with the town for engineering and related services for the term commencing January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024. And be it further resolved that the terms of the intermunicipal agreement will remain the same for 2024, with the exception of Schedule B compensation will be as followed. For and in consideration of the services to be rendered to the town of Ossining as set forth in Schedule A, hereby the town of Ossining agrees to pay the village of Ossining a sum of $107,923.28. Don't forget the 28 cents. For the calendar year 2024 to be paid in a prorated basis by monthly installments of $8,993.61 due on the first day of each of the months in 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. So can I just get an explanation of this? What this is about? Karen?
This is one of the several IMAs we have with the town of Ossining. So it's an engineering IMA specific to engineering services that we provide to the town of Ossining through this intermunicipal agreement.
Can I follow up with another question?
Sure.
What is the difference between this one and the last time that we actually have an agreement?
This is just it's basically the same agreement It's just an extension of that agreement.
So money-wise, nothing has changed.
There's an escalator, I think it's 2.5% that commensurates with, salary increases,
Automatic.
fractional increases, I should say.
Waiting, he's,
No, no, I'm fine with it. Because
don't remember.
for some reason, I apologize if I talked about this in a work session. Happened at this.
We had a fairly extensive discussion about it last year. And we actually worked with the town to, revise it. And I believe we revised it for a period of 1 year, if I remember correctly, and this is just now
Just the renewal of the
renewal,
last-
and we
from last year's
typic-
conversation.
yes, and so it's a carryover from last year's conversation. We typically do our IMAs for longer term, but because we had just redone this, we did it for 1 year. That was agreement with the town, and then so we're basically just extending, based on the discussion that was had with the board.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. I know, right? It's a lot of stuff, lots of numbers. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Okay, now we're gonna start on our laws. So this will be another roll call vote. Adoption of local law number 13 for 2023. Local law amending 270 zoning in the Village of Austin Code, Appendix A, Table A-1, permitted conditional and special permit principal uses in business and mixed use districts and planned waterfront subdistricts. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin has been considering the adoption of local law -220 2023 entitled Local Law Amending Chapter 270 Zoning and the of the Village of Austin Code, Appendix A, Table A1, permitted conditional and special permit principal uses in business and mixed use districts and planned waterfront subdistricts, and whereas the proposed amendment would allow as a permitted use animal related uses general in the office research OR zoning district and be allowed as a conditional use animal related uses intensive in the OR zoning district. And whereas the village board on December 6th, 2023 adopted the negative declaration regarding the proposed amendment. And whereas pursuant with section 270-59, a proposed amendment for chapter 270 referred to the Village of Austin Planning Board for a report, in which the report was provided. And whereas the public hearing for the proposed amendment for the chapter 270 was held on November 15th, 2023, and members of the public were able to participate both in person and via Zoom platform, as well as submitting written communication to the Board of Trustees. And whereas the public hearing was closed on November 15th, 2023, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby adopts this local law 13-2023, and directs that the said local law be filed and distributed in accordance with the applicable law, and be it further resolved that pursuant with New York's Village Law Section 7-706 in parentheses 5, the text of the local law shall be entered into the minutes of the village board, and be it further resolved that the local law shall become effect upon filing with the Secretary of State pursuant with municipal home rule law. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Any comments?
Okay, roll call. Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
trustee Casada,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
deputy mayor Lopez,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Okay, the next one is a roll call vote too. It's an adoption of local law 14-23, a local law amending chapter 229, article 6, streets, sidewalks, resurfacing, and the Village of Austin Code. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin, the village board, has been considering the adoption of a local law 2023 entitled the local law amending chapter 229, article 6, excuse me, streets and sidewalks resurfacing and the Village of Austin Code. And whereas the public hearing was conducted on November 15th, 2023 at 7:30 PM in the Municipal Building, 16 Croton Avenue, Austin, New York, and via Zoom platform, affording members of the public the opportunity to be heard. And whereas the public hearing was closed on November 15th, 2023, and whereas there are no impediments to improving the proposed local law, now therefore it be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby adopts local law 14-23, a local law amending Chapter 229, Article 6, Streets and Sidewalks Resurfacing, and directs the said local law to be filed and distributed in accordance with the applicable law, I can't say that word, to be further resolved that the local law 14-2023 shall be in effect upon filing with the Secretary of State pursuant with the municipal home rule law. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So could you just remind me which one this refers to?
Yes, Mayor, this is the change whereby when work is done within the street, they will have to go curb to curb and on 8 feet on either side. And if it goes beyond onto sidewalk, they will have to make repairs there as well. Also with regard to replacing road plates, if there's such work done during certain times of the year.
Thank you. So just for public notification, there's a lot of work being done all over the place. Many of the streets, not just in our community, but elsewhere, but I'm not the mayor of elsewhere, I'm mayor of Ossining. So what has been of concern to many of our constituents for, I would say, more than a couple of years, that on one hand, it's great that street work is being done by Con Ed, by other contractors and subcontractors on state, county, and our village roads. We control the village roads, so that we're able to deal with. But the other two elements, the county and the state, have become problematic in the way those metal plates are, if you've driven over them, the damage they've done to cars and trucks, and also and pedestrians who are walking the sidewalks. And there has to be the local municipalities can pass laws that when they do the final aspect, after they've done the work, these contractors then appropriately redo the surface of the road so that it isn't just patchwork that we see all over the place, which doesn't last very long, but rather, as you heard described, curb to curb. Once we do this, then these contractors and subcontractors that come down here and have to follow the local law. And so we're not going to get as many patchwork and plates and all the other stuff that's been happening. They need to clean it up. So I'm happy about this because this is really a quality of life issue. We all, I think, appreciate the amount of work that Con Ed is doing and other entities, not so much so about the final product, the subcontractors who are supposed to repave the roads when all the work is done. So really happy to see this and look forward to 24 with better roads, if at all possible.
And I just like, because I was talking to someone today about it, people need to understand that work is still being done, but the asphalt plants close for the winter. So their roads will be paved in the spring.
So one of the things you learn when you work in a municipality is more than you ever thought you're going to learn about asphalt and gravel and concrete and all sorts of fun things. Actually very interesting. You just never realize when you're in office, that's what you're going to learn about, and drainage and all sorts of stuff. So as Sue Donnelly had just mentioned, so it's very hard to do this kind of work in the winter, essentially, because the tar and all of that actually has to be at a high heat and done very quickly. And so it's a little bit of a logistical issue for contractors. In the winter in the Northeast, it's just really challenging. So they basically close up shop and start again in the spring, which actually makes sense. People don't really realize that oftentimes. And, you know, our roads do get ruined in every winter in the Northeast between the snow and the ice and the water. It damages the roads. That's just nature at work. So, you know, thanks for mentioning that, because I think people don't realize that. Thanks. So I think we're in the middle of a vote.
Okay, roll call vote again. Trustee Fritchie.
Aye.
Trustee Casada. Trustee White.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Lopez.
Aye.
And Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, authorize retention of special counsel to represent the village of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals and the Village of Ossining. Resolved that the Board of Trustee authorizes the retention of
Nicola Goldberger
Goldberger
and Stout.
Stout. I know Stout. 1311 Mamaroneck Avenue, Suite 340, White Plains, New York, to represent the Village of Austin and the Village of Austin Zoning Board of Appeals in the matter captioned the Village of, in the matter captioned in the matter of application of Wilmer Macacho versus the Village of Austin Zoning Board of Appeals and the Village of Austin in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, and be it further resolved that the terms of the retention are set forth in the November 1st, 2019 retainer agreement. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there any continuing business of the board? New business of the board. Approving separation agreement with Chief of Police Kevin Sylvester. Resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the mayor is authorized to sign a separation agreement with Chief of Police Kevin Sylvester. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments? I have one. I'm gonna read. This is from the board. The copy points were all looked at by the board, etc. So while I speak, it is on behalf of all of the board. Let me just find it, please. Sorry, thought I had it open.
While the mayor looks, I'll start.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. Hola, ¿cómo estás? By saying, first, thank you to the chief, and may I be the first to say congratulations on the retirement. It's amazing to have someone that started the position of chief 1 year younger than I am today. At 35 years old, I'm 36, will be 37 at the end of the month. That level of accomplishment is indicative of who you are as a person, the way you have served this community. You grew up here, you have your family here, you're as integrated with this community as anyone could possibly be, and to serve it as chief, we've been able to see with our own eyes the service that you have done to this community. So whether it's increasing communication with the Spanish language Facebook page, whether it's all of the ways that you've used social media to increase visibility, or really the invisible work, the day-to-day communication and relationship building with the community. I'm grateful to have had you as a chief, and we'll continue to count on you as a neighbor. So thank you for your service, as it were, and congratulations on the retirement.
Thanks. So thank you. Similar to what I'm going to say, but this actually comes from every member of the board who has seen this. So in the more than 20 year career, Austin Chief Sylvester has proven himself to be a leader and an innovator. I do want to underscore innovator, because that is actually a part of what I would call his brand. Bringing 21st century policing to Ossining, strengthening the use of new technologies and innovative ways to communicate difficult messages with candor and approachability. Being a police chief in the 21st century is, in my opinion, having sat in this seat this is my second term, but before that as a trustee, it is very tough to be a cop today, not only in New York, but across the country. It is even more challenging, in my opinion, to be a chief of police, because you are both a cop, an administrator, a public face, and we have always hired from within Ossining. So you're also people's neighbors, your children are here, etc. That's a tough gig for anyone. So we very much appreciate the many services of Chief Sylvester to really try to bring us into the 21st century. A real challenge. Strengthening the use of technologies and everything I mentioned is, I think, part of his brand. His emphasis on the use of social media, including the first Spanish language police department Facebook page in the country, has made the department more accessible to our community and has helped to humanize his officers by highlighting their hard work under often challenging circumstances. We sometimes take that for granted, but it actually is an award-winning Facebook account in the sense that people talk a lot about the Spanish language speakers of many communities, but not many people think about what can be done to really bring the police and force to the community and the community to the police force. So very grateful for that. We also want to thank Chief Sylvester and the Ossining Police Department is at the forefront of holistic approaches to policing. Under his leadership, Ossining jumped at the chance to become one of 3 communities working with Family Services of Westchester to extend the reach of FSW's mobile crisis response team. This innovative partnership was designed to provide police with training and support to stabilize those experiencing mental health crisis and connect them with follow-up services as needed in response to police reform advocacy that was universally supported. This came out of really a tough time, an intersection of police reform and changes that were occurring, and so much of the mental health issues that we now see retrospectively as we think about mental health crisis in the United States and everywhere that came out of COVID that I think we're going to see for the next decade. So being at the forefront of that innovative approach to bringing mental health crisis unit with the police officers and each learning from each other is something that the chief really jumped on and really took and made it all happen. Chief Sylvester is a Marine Corps veteran, also emphasized community outreach, partnering with the school district. Ray Sanchez sends his regards. As you all know, Ray Sanchez has been with our community for many years. He took a position in Tarrytown. He and the chief had a very strong bond, continually sent me texts about that. Partnering with the school district and the local nonprofits is what I meant to say, actually, to host after-school events on our streets. As police chief, he won many awards and served as president of county and state chiefs of police associations. While on the force, also serving in the roles of police officer, lieutenant, Chief Sylvester obtained his undergraduate law degrees and is currently a practicing attorney. He also serves as an adjunct faculty at Pace University. The mayor, myself, and the entire board, thank you for your service of more than 20 years. Wish you all the best in whatever endeavor you pursue. It is amazing how young you are. I think you won, I didn't put this in here, but didn't you win Chief 40-40 under 40? How did we leave that out of this? So really, we do hope best for you as you conclude your tenure here. Given your age, I'm thinking you've got about 3 careers left. The average career in the US is about 7 years. So you've got like multiple, not just the next chapter. I think you got like 3 chapters. And much congratulations. Thank you for your service. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. So with that, I don't know if you wanted to say anything. This is not prepared. We didn't like stage anything. So
No, you know, it's a lifetime of work. And I'm going to reserve. I'd spoke with the board over the last couple of days, and tomorrow I intend to release something or make a statement on one of our social media accounts tomorrow morning. So I'll put a notice out so people can log on to that if they want to. I just could use a little time to gather my thoughts. But I appreciate everybody's kind words tonight. It's been a wild ride, a lifetime of work, and a lot of things that we're very proud of. So thank you.
no, we thank you. And there was a resident, Linda Mangano, for those of you that know her, who already started talking about the next. So you're here to the end of the year. We will go through the end of the year. The board will start the process of seeking candidates who are interested in taking on the position. We will go through what you would expect. There will be an acting chief, and we will go through a process of interviewing potential candidates for this position, and we will notify the public as we move forward with that endeavor as well. Is there anybody else? Any comments, questions, anything?
I just want to say thank you, Chief. And I loved going to the events that the police department would host. And the Elks would be out there making hot dogs. And my favorite was when we rode around on our bicycles on Spring Street and all the kids that came out and all the families. And that was really a big memory for me. So thanks for putting that together. And good luck in everything.
Okay, I'm sorry, do we have from this side? I asked the board, did you guys?
I just want to congratulate you on your retirement and wish you nothing but luck in your future endeavors. Thank you, Chief.
Anybody? Sorry. Are you pressing? I can't tell. What's
No, I
happening?
was just gonna say, no, the same thing.
Okay.
For myself, thank you.
Does anybody on this side of the room have? I'm barely seeing you guys because of all this stuff we have here.
I'd like to make a comment.
Please.
The chief and I go back to my days before I was village manager, when I was working at IFCA right around the corner. And there's a lot of things that maybe people don't know. There's a lot of things that people do know. The level of community engagement and just great activities and ways of making police not only more accessible via social media, but more accessible to people, more of role models for the community, for the youth in our community. And in the 5 years that I was at IFCA, Chief Sylvester and the Ossining Police Department were great partners in doing a lot of outstanding things that I think went above and beyond what might be expected of a police department. And there were numerous times when they were involved. I think some of the first block parties were right in that neighborhood. It was a really amazing thing where people who didn't necessarily get a lot of attention wake up in the morning, wake up one day or actually come home from school one day and find a block party happening. A lot of really wonderful things happened, and it really did a lot in terms of raising the bar for transparency, for accountability, and for demonstrating that as hard as police work is to do, it is a noble profession. And we're very, very, very lucky to have had Chief Sylvester's leadership over the past several years during what probably for the last several decades is one of the most difficult times for the police. Everything that the Police Reform Committee advised has been acted upon thanks to the support of the board, but also thanks to the willingness of Chief Sylvester to take advantage of best practices and leading the way on community policing. So Chief, thank you very, very much. I know for a fact that your efforts resonate in the community.
Thank you all. Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for litigation?
So moved.
Second.
We have a second? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
Dana.
ahead.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Actually, I guess because we've discussed so many of these matters, I thought we were going to be here till midnight on this agenda. But apparently we all came well prepared. It is about 9 p.m., 8:56. Clock is fast. 8:56, we conclude our meeting. We're going to go into exec session. We are back next Wednesday, but as is supposed to be, back at Village Hall at the boardroom and on Zoom. Thank you all. Have a good evening.